Hello then, thank you for staying with us right here on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. This is the news. My name is Esther Machuku. Amid the escalating tensions in the Middle East, data from the Major Energies Marketers Association of Nigeria has shown that a litre of imported petrol is about 64 naira cheaper than the one produced by the Dangote Petroleum Refinery. However, the refinery debunked the report challenging importers to defy the ongoing airstrikes in the Middle East and bring in petroleum. On Monday, the Dangote refinery increased its gantry price from 774 naira to 874. The adjustment followed a jump in oil prices to $84 per barrel, up from below $70 days before the airstrikes involving the United States, Iran, Israel, and other countries. Following the increment, filling stations on Tuesday raised their pump prices to as high as 937 naira, depending on the location. Before the Middle East crisis deepened over the weekend, some filling stations had already been selling petrol at prices ranging between 812 naira and 839 naira, but the crisis disrupted the global fuel market, affecting Nigeria and other countries. Data by Memen indicated that Dangote's petrol gantry price was 874 naira per litre as of Monday, while the landing cost of imported petrol was 809 naira 37 kobo per litre, showing a difference of about 64 naira between the two sources. Now, Deputy Inspector General of Police Mr. Frank Mba, alongside several other senior officers, will be retiring from the Nigerian Police Force following recent changes in the leadership of the force. This is just as 7 Assistant Inspectors General of Police have been slated for promotion to the rank of Deputy Inspector General of Police. The exit of Mba and other DIGs followed the exit of the former Inspector General of Police Kaide Betoku and the confirmation of Tunji Disu as the new Inspector General of Police. Disu was sworn in on Wednesday as the 23rd indigenous IGP. The official portrait of the Inspector General of Police, Olatunji Disu, whereby the Tunji Disu had been preparing to leave but were waiting for a signal which was yet to come. Another source indicated that 7 AIGs are slated to visit the Police Service Commission. Also in attendance, several international programs, including the FBI National Academy in Quantico, United States, and leadership courses at Harvard University and the University of Oxford. While during the career of Tunji Disu, he served as Commissioner of Police in Ogun State and as Commissioner of Police in charge of the Border Patrol Force at the force headquarters. He also held operational commands as Area Commander in Ajah and Festac in Lagos. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has approved the postings of 65 ambassadors designate and high commissioners to various countries and the United Nations, with former aviation minister Femi Fani-Kayode assigned to Germany and presidential aide Reno Mokri to Mexico. The special advisor to the president on information and strategy, Bai Nanuga, who signed the statement announcing the postings on Thursday, disclosed that 34 non-career and 31 career ambassadors have been assigned to their GT post. Among the high-profile non-career appointees is former Katsina State Governor Lieutenant General Abdurrahman Dambazao. He will serve in Beijing, China, while Senator Jimo Ibrahim has been designated as Nigeria's permanent representative to the United Nations. Other prominent postings include Senator Ita Enang, South Africa, former Abia State Governor Ukeze Ikpeazu, Spain, former Health Minister Professor Isaac Adewale, Canada, Lateef Kayode, United States. Senator Grace Bent will serve in Lome, Togo, while former Enugu State Governor Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi has been posted to Athens, Greece. Aminu Dalhatu, close associate of the president, will serve as High Commissioner to the United Kingdom, while Ayodele Oke, former Director General of the National Intelligence Agency, will serve in France. Fatima Jimobi has been posted to Vienna, Austria. Mrs. Lola Akonde to Stockholm, Sweden. Joe Kiari Okocha to Dublin, Ireland. Vice Admiral Ibok Eta Ibas will represent Nigeria in Manila, Philippines, while Paul Adiku has been assigned to the Vatican City, Holy See. Nkechi Linda Ufochukwu will serve in Tel Aviv, Israel. Mahmoud Yakubu in Doha, Qatar. Yakubu Gambo in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Senator Professor Nora Ladi Dadut has been posted to Seoul, South Korea, while Dr. Kulu Haruna Abubakar will serve in Tunis, Tunisia. Other non-career postings include Engineer Abbasi Brahima to Budapest, Hungary, Erelu Angela Adebayo to Lisbon, Portugal, Oluwamika at Ayo Oyotunwa to Tokyo, Japan, Chioma Ohakim to Warsaw, Poland, Olufemi Pedro to Canberra, Australia, Muhammad Ali to Buenos Aires, Argentina, Joseph Shola Iji to Moscow, Russia, and Jerry Manway to Port of Spain, Trinidad and Tobago. Among career ambassadors, Ambassador Mohammed Mahmoud Lele will serve in Algiers, Algeria, Ambassador Shehu Barade in Accra, Ghana, Ambassador Aminu Nasir in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, Ambassador Ibrahim Danlami has been posted to Nairobi, Kenya, Ambassador Ayani Adebayo to Brussels, Belgium, Ambassador Akonde Wahab to Bern, Switzerland. Other postings include Ambassador Unwa Biola Ezenwa, Cote d'Ivoire, Besto Maimuna Ibrahim to Niamey, Niger, Ahmed Mohamed Mongono to Cairo, Egypt, Ambassador Jane Adams to Kingston, Jamaica, and Ambassador Clerk Omeru Alexandra to Lusaka, Zambia, amongst others. Now, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has inaugurated an 11-member committee to drive the establishment of the Grid Asset Management Company Limited, a new initiative aimed at addressing Nigeria's persistent power sector challenges and complete failure. The committee was constituted followed by the approval of the company's establishment by the Federal Executive Council, which endorsed a proposal to create GAMCO as part of efforts to tackle stranded power generation, transmission bottlenecks, and grid management inefficiencies. The Executive Council had approved the establishment of a grid asset management company to address Nigeria's persistent power transmission challenges. According to Femi Gbajabiamila, the President Chief of Staff, who inaugurated the committee on behalf of the President, the initiative represents a major reform step in the country's electricity sector. The Special Advisor to the President on Information Strategy, Mr. Bayo Nanuga, in a statement disclosed that the proposed establishment of GAMCO is one of the President's revolutionary steps that enhance his administration in the all-important power sector. Here for the inauguration of the Committee on Grid Asset Management Company, which is basically to optimize and revolutionize power generation and in particular the grid and transmission sector. Bayer urged members of the committee to remain aligned with the President's vision and strictly adhere to their mandate. Still on the world news at 6 with this development just coming up, we have actually gotten an information where former Transportation Minister and former River State Governor Rotimi Amaechi has urged security agencies to track down and prosecute gunmen who attacked his convoy, burned the ward office of the African Democratic Congress in Ubima Community, Ikwere local government area, River State. Amaechi, who was former Minister of Transportation, made the call today after armed men reportedly ambushed his convoy along the Ubuma-Omanwa Road while he was traveling to his hometown to complete his electronic registration as a member of the ADC. While VOP News gathered that suspected thugs had earlier mounted a roadblock on routes leading into Ubima, turning back vehicles believed to be conveying ADC members and supporters who were heading to the community for the exercise. The attackers were also said to have set fire to the ADC ward office in Ubima on Thursday night, hours before the former minister's visit. The armed men reportedly stormed the area with sophisticated weapons, fired several shots into the air, while the gate of Amaechi's family residence was reportedly riddled with bullets during the incident. Despite the tension, Rotimi Amaechi actually arrived in the community around midday today. The armed group allegedly in this attempted to block his convoy from entering the town before security operatives attached to him confronted him. Addressing a crowd of party supporters who had gathered for the e-registration exercise, Amaechi appealed for calm and urged members of the party to avoid retaliation. Still on the world news at 6, ex-governor of Kaduna State Nasir El-Rufai and the family of the former governor has called for his immediate release from the custody of the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, describing his continued detention as unlawful and politically motivated. In a statement today, the family said the former governor remains in ICPC custody despite the expiration of the legal authority that initially permitted his detention. The statement signed by Mohammed Bello El-Rufai, a member representing Kaduna North Federal Constituency in the House of Representatives, actually accused the anti-graft agency of holding El-Rufai without a valid legal basis. Opening the statement, the lawmaker explained that he had initially stayed away from public commentary but decided to speak out to clarify the situation surrounding his father's detention. The family argued that the remand order obtained by the anti-corruption agency on February 19 was defective and could only authorize his detention for for 14 days. They further claimed that the detention period had expired without any formal charges being filed against the former governor. The family insisted that the continued detention of El-Rufai now amounts to a violation of legal procedures and due process. While the Israeli ambassador to Nigeria, Michael Freeman, has alleged that Iran is actively sponsoring an exclusive interview today where he warned that Tehran's activities were not limited to the Middle East but have spread into parts of Africa, including Nigeria and the wider West African region. According to him, some groups operating in Nigeria connected to Iran and receive ideological or operational backing from the Iranian government. Let's take a very quick listen to him.
But on the first one regarding Iranian involvement in Nigeria, I think that is well documented. We know that there are certain movements. For example, the Islamic movement of Nigeria is sponsored and is backed by the Iranian regime. This is not me saying this. We've seen that documented by the Iranian regime. Ayatollah Khamenei, the supreme leader, posted on X his support and his backing and on there. So that's very open. And there are other areas as well that Iran is working for destabilizing not only Nigeria but all of West Africa. Apart from that, on your second question, look, Nigeria and Israel are strong allies, are strong friends. We work together on many areas, and as Prime Minister Netanyahu said, we are willing and we are eager to partner with Nigeria according to Nigeria's needs and according to Nigeria's desires in order to help tackle instability within Nigeria, again, according to Nigerian needs and Nigerian desires and wishes.
Oh, thank you.
All right, that was the ambassador right there speaking and clarifying that indeed Iran may be responsible for some ideology of Boko Haram and possibly back-end sponsors of their activities right here in Nigeria. Meanwhile, a yet-to-be-identified group has claimed responsibility for the attack on Ngoshi, a community in Goza local government area of Borno State, where scores of soldiers and civilians were killed, over 300 abducted on Wednesday night. Well, the terrorists stormed, burned down a military base in the community, shot sporadically, burned down homes and shops. In a video obtained this morning, the group comprising 5 men said they were determined to claim the territory and would celebrate the coming Eid al-Fitr in the central mosque located in the community. Speaking in Hausa on behalf of the group, one of them acknowledged that they beheaded men and women during the attack. It was indeed a gory sight, as video circulated across social media where human beings were butchered and pieced like meat or rams in their claim to want to take over the territory. They said they have slaughtered males and females in Ngoshi and take part of the province, and they are going to do the Eid al-Fitr Salah after the end of Ramadan in Ngoshi. They disclosed that many residents were abducted with the intention of converting them into slaves. They said that they will enslave the others and that it was Almighty Allah that said they should enslave them and go with them. The group further vowed to extend its terror activities to Maiduguri and Abuja. The men also released videos from the scene of the attack showing them beheading young men and killing women and children. Following the attack, the residents of the community expressed strong concern over the condition of elderly people and dead bodies left in the village after the terrorists dispersed residents. Mr. Elvis Elimele, good evening. Thank you for joining us during the news analysis segment.
Good evening, Esther. How is your day?
I will tell you the truth, Mr. Elvis. I'm actually teary. I was reading the story and I got emotional. I had to cover up with, the English thingy. I literally have tears in my eyes. Did you see the video?
Yeah.
Did you see how human beings were?
It's so sad. Most of this video is just something that is. It's not. It's.
Did you see what they did?
Yeah. The videos.
They pieces human beings.
Yes. Video keep coming up in Nigeria on daily basis. They are they keep improving. Coming up with different styles of massacring Nigeria. I don't even understand what's going on. It's so sad.
It makes no sense.
It's so sad. It's so sad.
It literally. I saw kids. Oh God.
Each video we see now looks like is this the beginning or even the end? We don't even know. It's so sad.
What do we do?
Remind the authority, remind the government that
the authority can see this. They are now bold now. They don't
care.
They actually portray themselves.
we have to remind them.
They did a video.
We don't have any other choice than continue to remind them that they own us
They
irresponsibility.
did a video detailing everything, taking responsibility. These are boys, not up to 27 years, very young boys. To tell you the kind of mindset that they have to treat human beings like this. Are we in a country? Are we in a banana republic? Is Nigeria a compartmentalized zoo, as a couple of persons describe it? Are human beings now animals? That there is no care, there is apathy, no concern, no address to this development. Mr. Bayananuga has not written anything about this terrible situation. The only thing he has released is the ambassadorial list presented and their designation. And across social media, there, as usual, distractions. What are we doing as a country, as a nation?
The funny part of the whole thing, Esther, is that it's the ambassadorial list that Nigerians will be celebrating, and Nigerian government will be celebrating as against this video that's so traumatizing. We see Nigeria government now not even seeing all these things as anything again, because they've just believed that that's the right thing. They are doing the right thing. Fortunately and unfortunately, one of the very vocal senator, Ali Ndume, is from that side. I think it's even the senator. That's his own local government where this took place. I think we have to remind him that he should also speak to the government where he serves as a senator. He's a member of the APC, and he's a very vocal senator. And with this one that happened, it's so sad that we are talking about Goza again. Remember Goza some years ago when they sacked the Nigerian Mobile Police Force School in a training center in Goza. Some of them have to even run into the
and just yesterday we saw
Cameroon.
the military base that Boko Haram did their thing, and we saw the surges and how their corpses were laid. And it's a back-to-back situation. It's appalling. It's terrible. They kidnapped, abducted schools, 300 of them. They have come out to say they're going to enslave them. 4 days ago, they were asking for virgins as ransom. They continue to kidnap and take over communities. And they've been able to disclose precisely what they want. The Nigerian military has appealed for more entrance into the military. They've asked the Southeasterners to represent that they are not in the Nigerian army. They're encouraging them to please come and join the Nigerian army. It doesn't mean that they need more men, because when they send their people to the battlefield, we see what actually happens. And Senator Ndumi said that their weapons are less, in terms of sophistication to the terrorists. I'm sorry that I sound this way. I just saw those images and I would not lie to you. It wasn't a funny development, and I don't know what is going on. This is not Sudan where there is a war, but it feels like there is a war. And some areas, possibly because they are not there to witness what is going on, they do not care.
Esther, this is more than a war. Even the war-torn nation don't record this number of deaths we record in Nigeria every day or on weekly basis, monthly and monthly. The recruitment you made mention of, Esther, is a two-way thing. Even so many Nigerians now with this death we see, very reckless death, are scared in going into the military. Apart from even I saw they said they want to recruit about 28,000. And that they are appealing to the Southeasterners to actually be part of this recruitment. Esther, any right-thinking person now will have to actually look twice to see whether it will be part of this recruitment exercise, because the truth is not always being told. We don't hear the truth when Nigerian soldiers are being killed, unnecessarily. There are no sympathy. I saw a video where Donald Trump went to receive 3 American soldiers that were killed in this Iran and America war. Look at the honor. But in our own case here, even when Nigerian soldiers died, they are not even mentioned. Let alone the president even talking about it. All we keep hearing is, all we keep Nigerian politicians keep celebrating is the number of defectors and the number of governors that have come to join their party, not the number of Nigerian military men who are, in the trenches dying on daily basis just to keep this nation. It's so sad, Esther. You just have to try and hold yourself. There's nothing we can do. Unfortunately, when we talk in the studio here, people say we are criticizing because we do not like the government or we don't like the president. It's not about liking the president or the government of APC. It's all about talking about Nigerians just being killed carelessly and avoidable death. These are people who are just struggling to survive, just struggling. In spite of the suffering of Nigerians, look at the way they ended their life are being ended. It's so sad. But the people we elected, our representative, are celebrating in their palatial home right there in Abuja. And look at the people who voted them into power, the way they are being slaughtered. Like, this is not even, you can't even be talking of slaughtering chicken in this manner.
It was bad.
It's so bad. It's so sad. Just put yourself together. That's the country we find ourselves. If vote actually counts, if this nation actually have a good electoral system, this is the time Nigerians will be talking about, no, we are tired of this. Let's have a change of government through the ballot, come 2027 general election. But unfortunately, the same 2027 general election that we are hoping for, has already been taken over by the ruling party. We don't even know the shenanigans around it. So, our prayer is that God will give us the best, Esther. So, what can we say and what can we do? May the soul of those, helpless Nigerians that were just, hacked to death in that reckless manner, may their soul rest in peace.
Let's move on to Mr. Rotimi Amaechi's convoy that was attacked today. He was going to his ward to register in the ADC, and they burnt the ward building of the ADC. And they also obstructed his convoy, while he was trying to get into his community. He eventually did the registration. But has it come to that in our political space?
This is the greatest problem that we are going to face in 2027 general election, Esther.
Yeah.
It started in 2023. In 2023 election, we saw how APC brazenly, started stabbing people, beating up people who came out to vote. They performed their civic responsibilities, their civic duties. They own this nation. They came out to vote. We saw how Nigerians were being molested on the queue. It became worse during the governorship election, especially in Lagos and some other part of this country. When they got away with that one freely, yes, Esther, and there were no deterrent, I know it was going to be worse in 2027, and that's what we are seeing now. Getting on to 2027 now, even for other political parties now to even hold meetings, opposition political party to even hold meetings, as minor as meetings, even for somebody now to go and register in his own town, is now being attacked. Have you heard of all the number of attacks? Look at Topi in Edo State last week in my state. Look at even the political parties, ADC, when they were in Alimosho in Lagos last time. Now, if Amaechi was not having security details that followed him today, probably his life would have been ended. So this is the biggest problem that is going to affect 2027 general election, Esther. We are not just talking about APC. See how hostile they are. APC knew how they were bullied PDP out of power in 2015. Now they don't want anybody to speak about them. They don't even want Nigerians to even have peaceful election to see whether we're going to have that desired change.
But you can't say it's APC. They didn't classify where those thugs came from.
Esther, why am I saying APC? APC leadership is the party that is ruling this country at the moment. So whatever insecurity, whatever problem we face in this nation, we'll call on the leadership of the country that they should give Nigerians peace. If it is not APC should ensure that there's leadership, there's security for Nigerians to be able to go about their normal activities daily. So you cannot tell me that I should not mention APC because the president of Nigeria is APC. Even the governor of Rivers State today is APC. So they must give Nigerians adequate security to go about their normal activities. Whether going to work, going to farm, going to market, we need the desired security. That's why I'm calling on them. I'm not saying that they are the one that did this, but they are the one that are in charge of this country, and they must give everybody adequate security because security and welfare is a constitutional requirement for anybody that steps into that office of the president of this nation. Constitutional requirement. So you cannot downplay it and say, oh, probably because some other thugs. We are not talking about other thugs. Give us security so that we can go about our duties as expected. That's why I'm calling on the ruling party, Esther.
All right. So Israeli ambassador to Nigeria has come out to tell us that Iran is the one responsible for the terrorism in this country. He said that that they're being fingered, that Iran is actively sponsoring terrorism in Nigeria, and they're attempting to expand its influence through extremist movements in the country. This was a remark he made today. I'm sure you heard the interview where Rufai was trying to say, do not interrupt me, I'm still talking,
I watched it.
Which was obviously what trended, but that was an expose. A couple of persons or a number of Nigerians would say that they already knew that, Iran and most of those countries are the ones responsible for the terrorism in the Sahel, the Sahel region, and not surprising Nigeria as well. Sambisa Forest is so big, so huge. They have their camps there, and they have different factions. They carry out this dastardly act. So now that Iran is having what it's going through with the US, would we see a curb in activity? Because the spike in insecurity is alarming, is worrisome. Once again, I'm still expecting the president to address the nation. With what I saw, with the video that I saw circulating on social media today, with young men beheaded and children torn and their entourages brought out, it was a very gory sight. And these guys were standing over these bodies and talking amongst themselves like it was just a normal thing that they usually do. And so I'm asking, will the president address the nation with this information that we have gotten in regards to this? And if that is the case, what other effort would you suggest should be taken now for the military to be asking for more entrance? It's possible that they do not really have men on the ground and they need more men. But the situation is discouraging. How we see Boko Haram decimate these guys. Obviously, somebody gives them intel of where their bases are located. With what we saw 2 days ago, where the terrorists ambushed one of their bases and killed almost 50 of them. So, if this is a situation, what would you recommend to be done, like now, not as soon as possible, like immediately?
Esther, it's a tough one. We have missed it long ago. You see, Buhari's administration, will keep referring to Buhari's administration, gave too much laxity to these people to fester. Now, Esther, they are everywhere. They are just everywhere. Is it in government? Is it in the military? Armed forces generally? Is it in politics? Is it in economy? They are everywhere. So to begin to now sift them and bring them out is difficult. Very, very difficult. That's why we are calling on President Tinubu. Any assistance, genuine assistance Nigerian can get now to flush these guys out is overdue, it's required. Because as you see now, Esther, even our armed forces are getting helpless. That's why they are calling for more recruitment. When war of this nature is going on and you now hear armed forces talking about recruitment, that's when you sometimes, I pray to not even get to a situation where they now start conscripting, picking young men outside to recruit them into the armed forces to fight this insurgency that we find ourselves, this terrorism. Coming to Iran, everybody have known all over the world that Iran is a notorious country when it comes to sponsoring terrorism. I am not surprised from what I heard from the ambassador to Israel concerning the sponsorship of terrorism in Nigeria by Iran. Look at what happened in Niger State, the video that is circulating, children, in a school in Niger State talking about what is happening in Iran. Then they are protesting about it here in Nigeria. Do you know what they are selling into the life of those children? Hatred, complete hatred. Standing on their flag and holding the picture of the man that was killed over there. What are you talking about? Do you know what the relationship between some of these schools with the Iran that made the fighting that is going on in Iran to now become something that we are celebrating over here in Nigeria? Even the children just conscripted into it. They don't even know what is happening. Suddenly they saw flag and they are standing on it and they are, reciting whatever they are reciting.
Mr. Elvis, Daniel Bwala was in a recent interview with Al Jazeera. The journalist actually came quite prepared. And Daniel Bwala could not really actually explain. He tried to deflect by trying to make it seem as if the UK and other countries are going through the same menace of insecurity. But let's take a listen to
the camp,
this.
that enclave, where they gather.
Are you okay with having the Americans bomb Nigerian people's homes?
I'm not aware of that one.
You're not aware of Morenike Saka, who said, I began to scream for help. I had to crawl my way out of the room. The missile tore through her apartment building, according to the Washington Post. How about Musa Solu? I was in my room. I was buried under the ruins. Are you okay? I don't know how to restart my life. Nigerian people's homes are destroyed.
Houses were not
You're not aware of Morenike Saka, who said, I began to scream for help. I had to crawl my way out of the room.
The
missile tore through her apartment building, according to the Washington Post.
Was targeted as terrorists, and we hit them.
You have a history of not
at the camp, that enclave, where they gather.
Are you okay with having the Americans bomb Nigerian people's homes?
I'm not aware of that one.
You're not aware of Morenike Saka, who said, I began to scream for help. I had to crawl my way out of the room. The missile tore through her apartment building, according to the Washington Post. How about Musa Solu? I was in my room. I was buried under the ruins. I don't know how to restart my life. My belongings are destroyed.
Houses were not destroyed.
Are you telling us that Nigerian citizens are lying about being bombed by the
I
US?
am saying that the military operation that was conducted on that day was targeted as terrorists, and we hit them.
You have a history of not hitting terrorists and hitting civilians. You know that, right? Your country.
I'm not aware.
Oh, well, on December 21st, the Nigerian Air Force said that they handed over compensation to people who were hit in an accidental airstrike on Christmas Day 2024. Do you just bomb every Christmas?
When and when?
Christmas Day 2024 and Christmas Day 2025.
I dispute that fact.
We'll take it up with the Nigerian Air Force. Let me ask you this. Since President Tinubu came to office in 2023, the situation has worsened in your country. You have a mixture of militant groups, you have bandits, you have clashes between herders and farmers.
We also have
Nigeria is now...
of foreign interest in Nigeria.
Nigeria is now the 5th deadliest country in the world. Are you proud of that record?
I acknowledge the fact that we have insecurity in Nigeria, and until the hoax narrative of the Christian genocide, then we began to see back-to-back attack in Nigeria. We had, for the first 2 years of the president's administration, a substantial peace in Nigeria.
Actually, the number of deaths went up on the president's watch.
After this incident of a Christian genocide. And by the way,
when did that begin?
There is no country of the world today that is free from insecurity.
No,
there
I
are
agree.
parts of London
that's why
you can't go in the evening.
Okay, but we're not bombing London to root out militant training camps.
But you have had so many of the bombing on behalf of the United Kingdom by the United States.
Since you're making rather spurious comparisons.
No, the context
11,000 people were killed in conflict in Nigeria in 2025. That is up from 8,700 in 2023. That is a 26% increase in the number of Nigerians killed since your party and your president came to office. That's a pretty awful record.
It's awful. And we're fighting hard day and night. In fact, that's one of the reasons why the president traveled to Turkey, where we had bilateral agreement to deal with insecurity. That's why we're cooperating with the United States of America. That's why we're cooperating with any country of the world. The reason is because since 9/11, terrorism is a global phenomenon.
Agreed.
And so every country is involved in it.
But it's getting worse in Nigeria, that's the problem.
I can't say it is getting worse.
You just agreed with me when I gave you the numbers.
No, I said
8,700 killed in 2023,
right.
11,000 killed in 2025. That's getting worse.
How many people were killed in the United States last year?
In conflict-related violence?
Probably. So this is not a conflict. This is an act of terrorism.
Okay. So how many people were killed in the United States in terrorism? It wasn't 11,000.
This is part of what Donald Trump many years ago in his first term classified the Western media as fake news. The reason is because context matter.
This is not Western media.
You are well aware.
This is not Western media.
Yes, I understand. But
this is the Armed Conflict Location and Event Data. ACLED, the most respected group that counts conflict-related violence around the world.
Let me ask you, where there is a terrorist
attack, I could also give you another source.
Conflict?
I mean, National Human Rights Commission. This is a Nigerian group. 2,266 people were killed by bandits or insurgents in the first half of 2025. That's more than were killed in all of 2024. You are failing. Amnesty International says you are failing at security. The numbers don't lie.
It's unfortunate, and as a government,
and it's getting worse.
We're working day and night
and it's getting worse.
Situation. I don't agree to the fact that it's getting worse.
How can it not get worse if more people die in 1 year than the previous year?
Context matters.
What's the context?
The context is not getting worse.
What?
Yes.
The context is not getting worse.
The context is that it is not getting worse because you see, this is a water, right?
Okay.
If you have a water half, You could say half glass full or half empty.
Yeah.
Isn't it right?
Yeah.
So the Western media always see Nigeria, Africa, and some of the activities in Africa as half empty. Excuse me. But we see it as half full, because when we look at it, and when I say context matter, before the president took the oath of office, we knew the situation in Nigeria.
And you made it worse.
When he made the decision to take bold step to put Nigeria in better.
Mr. Elvis, did you listen to that interview? I didn't know how to describe or what I felt for Mr. Daniel Bwala, because at some point he really tried in deflecting by saying that the narrative of how worse insecurity has become in Nigeria is a Western media narrative, and the interviewer actually came with his facts, his data.
Yes.
He was actually he was wild with the deflection, with the denial, with the fact that he was not aware of all of these things, and having to defend the president. Anyway, that's his job, to defend the president, to defend his administration by saying that insecurity is not worse under Tinubu. Let me ask you, Daniel Bwala is insisting that the spike in insecurity became the way it was after America declared Nigeria as a country of particular concern and the whole Christian genocide narrative. And he's saying that the insecurity situation was worse in Buhari's time than Tinubu's time. The interviewer said, no, insecurity is worse than Tinubu came to meet it. I would like to know what your take is there.
It's worse. And Daniel Bwala should even be ashamed of himself. This state we are talking about now, this video that is circulating now, that's his state, Borno
This was
state.
a recent interview, actually.
Yes.
And do you know the worst part? I think during the evening rush, those see the video on YouTube, there was an audience. It wasn't a one-on-one.
No.
There was an audience.
Yes.
It got to a point when he said he was not aware. They were like, the audience turned to each other and said, what? Like, is there something you're saying that we don't know? With the reports we're getting every day.
It is his state that this one that we're just crying about this evening happened. Because they just find themselves at the comfort of Aso Rock, and because of their job, they are not just good at telling lies. And they've forgotten that this video are on the internet. Everybody in the world is watching it.
Exactly.
And it's coming from Nigeria, where he is defending. I mean, Daniel Bwala should at least speak truth to power. I know it's his job. He wants to keep his job. But he should know where he's coming from. That he was not like this when he was in opposition.
At all.
But today, because he's in government and he's dining and whining with the sitting government, now truth has actually been eroded from his life. It's so shameful. I wonder how this one will go back to his state and repeat the same thing he's talking about. Let him go to Borno State and tell his people that there is no insecurity in this nation, especially what the Borno people are going through now. Even what we are going through in Nigeria, right from Borno State now to Zamfara, down to Kwara. Look at what we are going through. Look at what Nigeria is going through. And this is the best he can give to his people as he's serving this nation. It's a shame, Esther.
Mr. Elvis, thank you very much for giving us your time and having to share your insights on the World News at 6. I sincerely do appreciate your input.
It's my pleasure, Esther. Have a good evening.
Have a good evening too. And just before we go, let's look at stories outside the shores of Nigeria. President Donald Trump of the United States of America has said there'll be no deal with Iran except unconditional surrender. He says following any capitulation, Iran should choose a new leader acceptable to his administration. Israel's ministry says it has launched a new wave of strikes in Iran and destroyed a military command bunker in Tehran with 50 fighter jets. Tehran residents disclosed to the BBC Persian that last night was the worst night so far. Well, Lebanon's health ministry says that there have been 217 deaths since Israeli strikes began as large explosions are seen in Beirut. The Foreign Office says that a second UK chartered flight carrying stranded British nationals back from Oman has taken off. Meanwhile, the Brent crude benchmark oil price passes $90 a barrel for the first time since October 2022. And that's a wrap on the World News at 6. My name is Esther Wachuku. Good evening and thank you for staying with us.